Hello guys and gals, and welcome. So today I want to go over with you another one of the builds that I've created. This is a fun one that I've been working on for a while, called the Frostbite. Amazon, or it's Rogue. But I basically designed her after the Freezing Arrow, Amazon, and Diablo 2, and I kind of refined her a little bit from the previous seasons and messed around with some other stuff. And if you want to take a look at her build, I do have that up on Diablo4.life if you want to take a look at it. It's a pretty fun little doojank, and that will be linked in the description for you guys if you want to click on it. Let's go over her equipment first, and let's talk about it. So first off, I do have a Harlequin Crest Shako, disclaimer, and that is what I would use on this character if I didn't have any other options. However, other options are the Godslayer Crown, which is a really good option for the ability to pull everything in, which is very nice, and also the Cowl of the Nameless would also make a pretty good option as well. There's a lot of different helmets that you could put here. You could also just put a very well-rolled rare helmet with a nice aspect on it, a defensive aspect probably. So something pretty nice to help keep you alive. For the armor, I do use the aspect of the Shared Misery. This is, of course, to help the freezing effect from the Frostburn Gauntlets to spread among the monsters. The Frostburn Gauntlets are absolutely core to this build because of the freezing effect, and you want to try and get yourself a pair of 25%ers. In fact, I think I have a pair of 25%ers in here. I don't even know why I'm not using them, now that I think about it. Let me check real quick. Frostas. I got 20s. I got 24s. 732s, 24s. Those are actually pretty well rolled, too. They're not terrible. Crit strike chance is a little low on them, though, unfortunately, at 4.5%. Unfortunately, though, I don't really need the extra 5%, so I'll hang on to it for now. For the pants, we're using Tobolt's Will, mainly for the additional maximum resource, because the extra combo points are insane. If I wasn't using Tobolt's, I would probably be using a nice, well-rolled pair of pants. There's actually a pretty nice aspect that I would put on these that has to do with the Victimize passive and healing you every time the Victimize passive goes off or whatever. That one's actually pretty good, but Tobolt's is a pretty nice choice as well. The Doom Treads of Noxious Ice work really good with the Poison Imbuement, which is what we're using. So chilled enemies are poisoned. Poisoned by the Poison Imbuement will be further chilled for 20% per second, and you deal 29% additional poison damage to frozen enemies, which is very important for this build, because that gives us additional poison damage when the monsters are frozen, which we're going to get from Frostburns a lot. For the bow, we are using the corruption aspect here. This is for the imbuement skills, have the effect of 80% times increased potency against vulnerable enemies. We're also utilizing the Amulet of Bursting Venom, so we get the free poison puddles, which are really, really nice. And because we're lucky hit based, we get them a lot. Toxic Alchemist Loop is so we get the poison explosions when Shadow Imbuement hits a poisoned enemy. And Icy Alchemist is the one that gives us the cold explosion when Shadow Imbuement hits a chilled or frozen enemy. And so forth and so on. We're also using Condemnation specifically because it helps us build our combo points, and we get the nice combo point multiplier for the core skills. And then we also get the penetrating shot, trick shot aspect for our sword, so we get the additional 2 arrows that split off a penetrating shot. It's very important because it gives us more hits, helps it spread across the battlefield better. For our specialization, we are, of course, using combo points. For our skill tree, we are using Puncture, Enhanced Puncture, and Fundamental Puncture for the additional vulnerable. We're using 5 in Penetrating Shot, Enhanced Penetrating Shot, and Improved Penetrating Shot for the additional crit chance. We are putting 3 points in Weapon Mastery, which is really nice for the vulnerable damage. And then we are grabbing 1 in Concealment and 1 in Enhanced Stealth for the additional energy. And we also have Dark Shroud, Enhanced Dark Shroud, and Countering Dark Shroud, which is just so we have the extra crit strike chance there, which is pretty nice. 3 in Exploit and 3 in Malice. We are putting 5 in Shadow Imbuement, and we're utilizing the Mixed Shadow Imbuement so that we get the additional non-physical damage, as well as the Poison Shadow Imbuement, which we are going for the poison imbued skills, have a 30% chance to apply double the amount of poison damage over time. This helps us with our single target a lot, as well as the 3 points in Deadly Venom. We're also using Consuming Shadows, which is each time you kill an enemy with shadow damage, you generate 30 energy, and 1 point in Shadow Crash. 2 points in a precision imbuement because we really didn't have any to spare. 3 points in frigid finesse and 1 point in chilling weight, which gives us more chilled movement speed reduction. We could actually sacrifice that and put that over here. It really depends on what you want to do. We have 3 points in an innervation, which helps us gain all our energy back. It's a pretty crazy. It's a 30% lucky hit chance to gain 8 energy, and we lucky hit a lot. I'm also using the Alchemist's Fortune, which is non-physical damage you deal, has a 15% chance bonus for lucky hit, so that gives us even more lucky hit. And then we are using the Victimize key passive. This is lucky hit dealing direct damage to a vulnerable enemy, has up to a 45% chance to cause an explosion, dealing 23% of the original damage to them and surrounding enemies. Victimizes damage is increased by 120 times of your vulnerable damage bonus, which we currently have 190% times damage, which is pretty nice. All in all, we have a lot of explosions going on. We have the Icy Alchemist explosion, we have the Toxic Alchemist explosion, we have the Puddle explosion that comes from bursting venoms, we also have the explosion coming from the Victimize passive, and all of it adds up to a lot of really nice damage for density clearing. And I'd like to take you to a dungeon and play around with this, but before we do that, let's go over the Paragon board. For the Paragon board, we are utilizing the Devious Glyph because this gives us increased crowd control effects, increased damage from you for 20 seconds, so it's 2 times up to 10 times, blah, yada, yada. We're also grabbing the Eldritch Bounty, which is the imbued skill bonuses, and we're utilizing Efficacy, which is imbuement skill potency. We're also utilizing the Control Glyph, which is crowd control, chilled enemies, frozen enemies. It's actually more if they're frozen, which is really nice. And we're utilizing Cheap Shot, which gives us 5 times increased damage for each nearby enemy that is crowd controlled, which gives us a pretty nice multiplier of 25% times, which is great. We're also utilizing the Canny Glyph, which is non-physical damage, increases all the non-physical damage an enemy takes from you up to 10% of times for 15 seconds. And then we're grabbing the Exploit Weakness, which is really nice for the vulnerable damage. And also Cunning Stratagem, which is your non-combo point bonuses are increased by 33% when you spend 3 combo points. And then we also are grabbing the Frost Feeder, which gives us a 20 times increased chill effect. All in all, the character is pretty well set up, and she's very good at single target and density. I would say she's better at density clearing. Definitely better at density clearing. I'd like to take you into a dungeon here real quick and show you what this is like. This one is Lightning Storm. It's probably going to get me killed, which will look great on the video when I die. But you know what? Let's go into the Lightning Storm and let's die. I could always use a little humility. So there's 2 things that I want to show you when it comes to this character. First off is her absolutely insane density clear, which comes from the Shadow Imbuement skill. You can actually fire your Poison Imbuement first, and then fire the Shadow Imbuement, and it'll get kind of insane. Let me see if I can actually show it to you with a big pack, because I need like a really big pack to show you how this works. Like that. Notice how I was basically able to just absolutely demolish the entire pack out of existence. There is a sort of exponential chaining bonus which occurs between all of the effects that I have. And I stand still for a second. I'm probably going to end up dying from the lightning storm. But basically how it works is all of the effects that I have going on, the explosion from the Frozen, the Icy Alchemist Ring, the explosion from the Toxic Alchemist Loop, the Bursting Venoms, the Victimize passive, the freezing effects from the Frost Burns, the Shared Misery, which shares that to other monsters. All the explosions kind of compound on each other, including the explosion that comes from the Shadow Imbuement itself, which is when an enemy dies while under the effect of the Shadow Imbuement. They also can explode. So we end up with, what is it, 1, 2, 3... 4 or 5, like 5 different explosions, like the Victimize passive, the Poison Imbuement passive, the Icy Alchemist passive, the Bursting Venoms passive, and the Shadow Imbuement passive, right? So we got like 5 different explosions that go off at any given time. So if I have the lucky hit set up properly, and if I fire it off into a nice big pack of monsters where everything can chain nearly indefinitely, you end up with these absolutely ridiculous explosions. I just died from the lightning, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I told you I was going to die from the lightning. You end up with these absolutely ridiculously huge density explosions, which just chain across the entire pack. Because, of course, you have one monster explodes who kills another monster. That monster freezes because he killed the other. The Shadow Imbuement is on them. The Shadow Imbuement causes the explosion when the monster dies, and so forth and so on. And before you know it, you've got all these explosions chaining together, making for absolute insanity, which adds up to a lot of density clear damage. You actually pay attention to the mechanic. Now, this means that she's absolutely insane at dealing damage to large groups like that, but not the best at dealing damage to individual monsters. Let's see if we can find a decent elite monster in here that I can show you what her single target damage is like. She actually utilizes some pretty interesting mechanics to get massive amounts of single target damage. And I've actually been pretty surprised at how good her single target is. So here we go. We've got a nice little pack right here. Let's go ahead and just annihilate them. As you can see, we had some elites in there. And what I did was I utilized the poison imbuement to dish out massive amounts of damage to the boss. We got a pillar up here too. I can utilize this one to show you. So build up our combo points and we get our nice little puddle on the ground, which doesn't really take too much effort. Once we have our puddle on the ground, we can fire infinite shadow imbuements, or sorry, poison imbuements, and we can basically dish out nearly infinite amount of poison damage to a single target. Like here we have a single target monster. So let's just go ahead and poison that one to death. It actually works surprisingly well, and it's one of the things that I actually kind of messed up when I originally built this character. Was she was absolutely great at density clear, but she just kind of sucked at single target. I've kind of fixed it. The addition of the poison imbuement and switching over to the toxic alchemist loop, as well as the bursting veins, has given me the ability to stack additional poison damage by utilizing the noxious ice. And it feeds into everything else that I'm doing. So the Icy Alchemist causes a cold explosion, which chills them, right? The Frost Burns freezes them, which allows me to hit them with the Shadow Imbuement, which can cause the chilling explosion, which chills and freezes all the monsters, and it chains into a nice big effect, right? Well, now that they're chilled, well, they take 29% increased damage from poison, which also feeds into the Toxic Alchemist loop, which when they are poisoned and hit by the Shadow Imbuement, they gain another poison explosion, which causes more damage here, and the Bursting Venoms causes more damage, and it all is one big feedback loop of craziness, which just seems to work surprisingly well. As you can see, I can fire off a couple attacks here or there. Let me see if I can go ahead and annihilate this pillar real quick. As you can see, the poison damage stacks up pretty nicely. Was I not standing? I was totally in the lightning storm, was I not? That's the second time that lightning storm has got me. See, I knew when I picked this dungeon it was going to die to the lightning storm. At least I called it in advance. Although I was pretty sure I was standing in the lightning storm, or in the protection dome there. Oh, here we go. Here's another single target. All right, so we're gonna stack as many poison. Oh, he's already dead. Never mind. He's already dead. Never mind. Ah! The dungeon, not so hard. The lightning storm, pretty difficult. As you can see, though, it's a pretty blast of a character to play. I've actually had a lot of fun stacking up the damage from the penetrating shot, just dishing out as much damage as I possibly can in a very short period of time. As you can see here, the closer and the denser the packs are, the more damage that you can potentially do. I've got, what, poison puddles? Let's go ahead and just stack the poison puddles on here. Oh, hello there. Who are you? Shadow touch. Ow! Why you gotta be so rude? Oh, great. You know why I died there? Because I had to run away from the spider. You know, it's a kiting. I'm a range character. I kite. And then the lightning storm came up, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I can't kite because, you know, reasons. Because the lightning storm has told me that I'm not able to kite this monster. And it totally worked, too, because I wasn't able to kite the monster, and because I wasn't able to kite the monster, I died. I died fairly nicely, too. That's the third time the lightning storm has gotten me killed. It's one of the reasons why I just don't run it in my dungeons, pretty much ever. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's rude. I don't like it. See if we can finish this dungeon real quick. I'd like to show you at least a boss before I finish here. Unfortunately, the lightning storm has killed me 3 times already. God help me. I mean, technically I didn't die to the lightning storm. But that's only because I ran back into the lightning storm because I needed to, and the lightning storm still totally got me killed. It's one of my biggest pet peeves about the lightning storm is that often the lightning storm forces you into very dangerous situations. Because, of course, the lightning storm doesn't actually protect you from anything that's within the lightning storm. And more often than not, it actually forces you into situations which are just absolutely nasty. Like, oh look, there's a place I would never stand in a trillion years. And then you stand there because, of course, the lightning storm would kill you otherwise. But you gotta, like, pop, like, 30 cooldowns to make it work. Man, what is going on with you, buddy? I don't like this guy. There you go, he's dead. He's gonna explode a couple more times though, just to really lay it in. Everybody group up. I don't want to fight you guys one at a time. I gotta get by the lightning storm again. Okay. Okay. In retrospect, choosing the lightning storm was a bad idea. Obviously. Obviously. Boy, I can't. I just can't with the lightning storm. I can't. I don't pay attention enough. I got ADHD, boys. I don't pay attention enough for the lightning storm. I will literally be in the heat of battle, pressing my buttons, trying to stay alive, dodging left, dodging right, doing what I gotta do. And literally, when the lightning storm pops up, I do not pay attention to that stupid thing. I hate it. And I will literally die every single time, just for stupid reasons, because lightning storm is stupid. It's let this be the video where I tell everybody that thing needs to be removed from the game because it's just dumb. Even in single player, it's dumb. But when you get into a group and everybody's running different ways and the lightning storm is like nowhere near you and you got to pop a freaking defensive cooldown every single time it comes up, it's just annoying. It's very annoying. Anyway, I think I've showed you enough of the builds, and I've also showed you guys that I died to lightning storm like freaking 4 times. But very, very fun build. Very fun density clear. Finally fixed the single target issues with the build, and overall I'm actually really impressed with the way that the character plays. I've had a lot of fun trying to make penetrating shot work, and even without the to bolts combo point bug, since I have actually played this build even back in season 1, it actually still works surprisingly well even without this. So normally when you get 3 combo points, it still goes up to about 100% lucky hit chance. It's like 105% lucky hit chance with just 3 combo points. I think if I take these off, yeah, 102% lucky hit chance with just the 3 combo points. So you don't need the full 22 to get a pretty decent lucky hit chance, by the way. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching me die to lightning storm 4 times. And as always, oh man, always keep watching.